I have broke him. I have broken Barry Jackson on the record. He has been broke. You know, I wouldn't say shrink because there's a lot of guys that, there's you're attempting to do your best job at the art of multiplicity of doing the same thing. So, with a lot of guys having a lot of experience doing a lot of things, with the offensive line having to block certain things with certain rules, there can be a happy medium, hopefully to the point that it would be unnoticeable to all of you guys. So I don't expect it. There's always things that change, ways you attack defenses. You're doing it to the strength of your team. When there's less experience and you're trying to win a football game, you have to really strain and see how multiple you can be with being very similar for what their piece is. So I think we've done a good job putting together a plan where it's not unreasonable for those guys to really execute it, as well as being multiple and keeping the defense honest. But we're also playing a defense that prides itself on fundamentals and technique, which is kind of it's similar to what we do from a defensive standpoint, where they're trying to get their players. The Jets try to get their players to play as fast as possible with as much conviction. So they do a good job of being versatile within their system, but it's also manageable for them to get, because they're all about the performance of their guys and maximizing their players. Knowing Coach Saul and Ulbrich, extensively. So it's a good opponent for them to identify stuff. However, that opponent brings it at a aggressive level. So they really have to be. All of our guys have to be very confident and intentional. And bottom line is this defense is, wherever they're ranked is not fair. They should be higher. I think those guys over there, the energy that they have played with since we last played them, just being involved in some tough times myself. Like, I know what type of coaching that takes. All three phases for the Jets. I pretty much know all those guys, and it's really, really cool to see. We're trying to not give them. We don't want them high-fiving this week, but just the whole locker room. It says a lot about the players. They have played with energy, and I think they've had 2 out of the 3 best defensive performances. When everyone was saying that, the season's this, that, or the other, that's my favorite stuff. So hats off to them. We're gonna have to be super prepared because they're gonna be coming to Miami with a point to prove. I can assure you that. It's not really a read-in in terms of like where. Like, I think in theory, he would be able to practice if he didn't have the standard of practice that he has. Right now, we're just focused on getting it as healthy as possible, and then bottom line is we'll have a conversation that will be based upon. Remember, this is Tyreek Hill's career. He's a very experienced player. I handle very experienced players different than I handle younger guys because they know what they signed up for, and it's his career. So when we talk, this is what will happen. he, in his season, his career on his team as a captain, if he's confident, and then I have the support of the medical guys, he's confident that he can go be himself, and I have the support of the trainers that that's responsible to the wrist, then he'll play. If it's not that, then he won't. And literally every hour for him is imperative. He has had the same energy that he's had all season, which is, I've never seen somebody take a step like this who's already a great player. And he is in this building. What is that, a 12-hour day of focusing on knowing everything to do and rehabbing. So he's doing everything he can. I don't know. I don't have a feeling as of yet because we're getting ahead of it. But he'll be spending time rehabbing. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's I think I didn't give it its due when I first got in the league, and then over time, it's one of the more important positions on your team. You do not just because they're not the starter doesn't mean. I mean, they're as important as anybody, because not only are you supporting the process of the starter, but you have to, at a moment's notice, go and orchestrate full speed everything that you've worked on. And you have to have the right guy, because a lot of those times those reps aren't to be had. So you have to work extra. And then you have to have the I don't know, the right type of mindset, so that that 0 to 60 process, you are able to do best by your skill sets and not quiver. It is challenging, because it's, you never know what's going to happen. And to sit there and say at any position, oh, we're good, we don't need depth. I mean, I think in just 2 years of me being here, you can't assume any position is going to be void of injuries. We've had one at least at every position. So the quarterback being able to do that, and on top of that, you have to garner the confidence of all your teammates, so that when you walk in that huddle, they can be their best selves, and it's not like, oh, here we go. I mean, it is an important role that I think the Mike White and Skylar Thompson for us, every week there's residual effects of what they do during the work week through Tua. Like, that is a group. I think, Coach Bevel has said in his 20 years in the NFL being in those rooms, this might be the best one. And they're all supportive of each other. It's a hard position, but then you have some brothers that can attest and give you feedback and be like, dude, don't worry, that was a really hard throw. Oh, don't worry, I didn't see that. That hits differently to your ear than, this guy. So, very important, and it will continue to be important. Well, I see, what I saw was, I thought it was kind of cool, because just think about that. To be Offensive Player of the Week for your whole conference in the same season of getting benched. Fortunately, he's in, a small under the radar media market. Like, whoa. Like, so I think it's cool. And what I saw was internal fortitude. There was some conviction and confidence. I saw when the pocket was clean, he was seeing it, and then when it wasn't, he was able to find ways to get on the edge of the defense and do some of the stuff that is the reason he was the second pick in the draft, because he has some arm talent that's unbelievable. And it's I think he, I don't have to be in that building to project. Everybody knows, that's a galvanizing situation, because everyone knows how hard it has to be to, be. I've talked about it before. Everybody wants to live up to where they're drafted, and you go and you have to hear questions about stuff, and then for his teammates to watch that happen, and then him go out there and really believe in himself and show confidence, and then make some plays. I'm happy for people specifically when that happens. I can relate to that stuff. So I see a confident guy that's dangerous that you have to disrupt. Okay, I think that you have to be very, very good with your pre-snap presentations. I think you have to get on edges of offensive linemen and disrupt his vision. And I think if you allow him early confidence, he's going to play confident. And that so that's our objective to start the game. And I think guys are up for the challenge. One thing they're not doing is that you can tell it hit our locker room too. Like, they're not taking this team lightly. They know that how tough things can be when you've lost a couple games in a row, and then the amount of momentum you have from one game. So we're going to have our hands full, but at this stage in the season, that's what you want. You don't want gift victories. You want to go earn it, and they're going to make sure we have to do that. So we're going to have to be on all of our stuff, and which is why today's so important. It's the most important day of our lives. What was Monday night? Okay, that's so what it is, but the team. I see that a team that is eager to play football again. I sense the first time I talked to them this week, they wish the game was that day. I know their bodies didn't, but they wanted. You want to wash that out, and so it's up to. And what I've seen thus far is guys focus that frustration into the game plan and preparation for this opponent. I think, on the surface, you're generally kind of worried about that. For me, this team this week, I'm not, because they, like I said, they're eager to go make some things right. And it would be one thing if we spent that game, like watching the film, there was things that were to our standard, so we've been focusing on how did the back end of the game unfold. And once we did that, we moved past it, and it's been JETS all week. I think it's Joe Shad. Okay, I was just seeing if you're listening. Your head was down. I just wasn't sure. I think that all has to do with the collection of individuals. I think as a coaching staff, we try to do our best to kind of, you end a game and there's so many things that happen. Individuals think about this play, this play, and then quite naturally you're like, how did this happen? I think as a coaching staff, we kind of look at things, and then you deliver a mindset message on like, okay, well, this is how we can kind of categorize that. And then it takes a bunch of like-minded individuals who are interested in things much beyond themselves, who are strong-minded, with will to listen to that and then decide, hey, you know what? Collectively, this is the way we're going. This is how we agree that we can file this under in this envelope and say, okay, that's what that was, and learn from it. And that's why I love the locker room, because they are not blinking, feeling sorry for themselves. They are 100% focused on the Jets, which you have to be in this league. That's another reason, another example that will always present itself in every NFL season of why you have to come prepared. Everyone gets paid, and there's a lot of teams that win games that beat Vegas's odds. So all of that being said, I think the bottom line is none of it matters unless you have the right human beings as players. My expectation is that as coaches, we funnel the information appropriately because that's our jobs. But I could be Newt Rockney, and if I have guys that aren't about each other and focused on the right things and committed to this team and organization in the city, then it doesn't matter. So I would say it's a credit to the locker room that has been built up and the individuals in it. Cool? All right.